Good day, everyone. We're here with Brent Garbutt of GOJHL. Commissioner, how are you today?
Great. How are you doing, Jay?
Excited to be back. Haven't done a junior hockey interview in 15 months, so it's something that I'm excited to be back to talk a little bit of hockey. It looks like hopefully everything's turning around in our province.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat, hoping the same thing. I know that.
Exactly. Now, first things, when I reached out to you, can you talk a little bit about what the reclassification is and what you guys are trying to do with the GOJHL compared to in southwestern Ontario compared to the rest of the province?
Yeah, so we already are the highest level of junior hockey under major junior within our footprint. So we believe that we should have that opportunity to be junior A. There's no junior A franchise southwest of Brantford, which is a massive triangle from Listowel all the way to Windsor to the Niagara Falls, Fort Erie area. So that's a big area. It's the second largest footprint in terms of Hockey Canada registrants in all of Canada, not just Ontario. So right now, those players aren't having an opportunity to play junior A and are having to chase the label or chase the designation, so to speak, and move away from home to be able to play junior A. So that's what we're hoping to be able to change and give them that opportunity, as well as we just don't think it's fair for them to have to do that.
And can you explain for right now, again, we're still in limbo with what's happening in Ontario, but for AAA parents who don't really know, what when it comes to the difference between junior B and junior A, what's the difference there, and why are you looking for the reclassification?
Yeah, that's just it. There is no definition of what a difference is. There's no definition of a junior A or junior B or junior C team or operation within our members' bylaws. So that's pretty. It's a very subjective thing, I guess. And it's no one's fault. The OHA has been along for a long time, but for some reason there are no junior A franchises southwest of Brantford. So that's something we're trying to change, because we believe, especially within our own footprint, our territory, that within the GOJHL, everyone and our fans know, and our players as well, know just how good the league is, and that it's a junior A caliber league. And I obviously that's proven with how many players are taken by the junior A leagues every year, and then as well as U Sports, NCAA, major junior in the CHL, and obviously onwards to the NHL. So the players, with that many players in our area and our footprint, obviously there's a lot of big names that have come through here. So we just want to be able to keep our players at home in our community teams for as long as they want to stay, instead of having to chase a junior A label and play away from home until they're ready to make whatever that next step is in their junior hockey career.
So really, when it comes to junior B, and I'm going back, we talked off air about back in the 80s, my parents owned the Peach Kings and stuff like that, and they were junior B back then. Now, it is junior B now just I don't mean a stigma, but people look at junior B as below junior A, even though we know the caliber is not there, but is that what people look at? Yeah,
definitely. I think that's what's hurting us. I mean, as I touched on a moment ago there, it is for sure within our area, and the scouts and teams that come and recruit out of our league, they know the difference. But we've had Mark Hunter come on board, and we'll have others kind of reaching out with their opinion that they know it's not a junior B, so to speak. It's as simple as it is. It really is. Just like in school, everyone strives for an A that instead of a B. So we can probably all go back to when we were kids. We like to tell everyone where we play, and our players would rather say, because they know they're not really playing a junior B level. They're playing at a higher level. And we believe it's comparable, if not better, than some junior A leagues within the CJHL. So we feel they deserve that opportunity to be able to say that, so that we can have schools and teams at higher levels that don't necessarily know our league well, or don't come specifically because we're classified as a junior B league.
And I always say getting rid of a title is hard. When that junior B title has been there probably for at least 80 years. Now going to the OHF, and back in 2014, the GO tried to get the reclassification. It didn't happen, and now you've decided. Why does the league wait so long to decide to try to do this again?
I don't know if it's waited so long. I think at last there was a push. Then I think there was another push of 3 or 4 years ago as well. And I think it's been a hot topic for a long time within the league. I think now kind of surfacing with our regulations and things like that are out there, combining that with the data, the facts, and kind of especially the geography when you look at it, it really jumps off the page to you that you might put to an outsider, and they'd say, if you're showing them a case on this, and they say, well, why is it like that? That doesn't really make any sense. At least that's what we think, because we've heard some people speaking about it. They're just kind of, well, I don't get why this is an issue. Why it should be pretty simple. So that's kind of what we're trying to portray. Is we're not here about anybody else other than our players and our communities, because at the end of the day, that's who's affecting, and that's entirely what this is about.
And that's the biggest thing in that. I'm not picking on any organization anywhere in Ontario, or that is, sometimes we forget that it's about the players, right? And that's, we just want the best for the players, and we're help to move on if we can, right?
Right. No, you nailed it. And this push, we know it could potentially affect some other organizations and things like that. Well, there could be discussions there as well with them, but it has nothing to do with even our own organization. I mean, it does a little, right? But it is about the players and the communities. Of 26 teams, 10 of them are owned by the communities themselves. And then our other teams, even though some the other 16 that are owned by sole owner, private ownership, some have been, the conversation with an owner last week that he said, hey, I know I'm private, but I'm a community team. I'm from here. I've come back to play here. I'm the third owner in 50 years. So the franchises are stable. They're within our communities, and our teams largely are all the same area, not moving around. So at the end of the day, our league is very community focused, and that's why we're trying to help out. We know they're playing at a higher level than our designation states. And so we believe, and as the highest level under major junior, that they should have that 8 designation. And we don't like to see players leaving out of our league community simply because, and we hear this all the time. It's junior A, so I want to be in junior A.
And when it comes to like the BCHL left the CJHL, now I know that the first thing is the Ontario Hockey Federation, but what does the CJHL say about the reclassification allowing you guys to be part of the CJHL?
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't had a conversation with them. Obviously, I know there's an agreement with, or was in the past, with Hockey Canada in terms of the CJHL just dictates who is junior A in Canada. But our focus right now is within the OHA to have junior A designation only, as this all comes down to, we want to be able to hold on to our players. And so with having that designation in the OHA, we would be able to do that. So that's what first and foremost is there. Obviously the CJHL will be nice, and we would definitely entertain discussions, be partners of theirs, and recognize as junior A across the country. But primarily, we feel we're not asking for too much, and we don't think it can be ignored. That junior A status will allow us to keep our players and not be pillaged by other junior A leagues, because they could say our league's not good enough, our players aren't good enough. Well, it'd be contradictory to all the players they're taking every year.
And that's it. And we're based in Sault Ste. Marie, the Junior Hockey Network, and we have players that have gone and played down in the GO. So it's again, the level of hockey is there. And one thing again for parents, when it comes to junior A, junior B, and I'll use the NOJHL here or the SIJHL north of us, or the OJ. When it comes to recruiting, or I guess you say acquisitions, can that happen with you guys be junior B and other teams be junior A?
Like currently?
Yes.
Yeah. So they could obviously, and that's kind of who we're talking about, that our players are chasing, as they all have junior A status, that because they're labeled as a junior A league, that players are going to their league to get to junior A, when we feel a large number of them, we could be able to keep them home based on that designation alone. Obviously, those are all great leagues, and we're not trying to take anything away from them, because it's not about that. We're just trying to be basically invited to the dance, I guess, that this massive triangle is left out in Ontario, and I don't see how there's a good reason why.
And that's exactly it. And going back, it'd be different if you were trying to encroach into the being Southern Ontario, the OJHL. If you're trying to take away locations or cities that are already there, where this is not, you're not trying to encroach into them. It's a totally separate area in Ontario, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're not adding more teams or anything like that, flooding the market. Like, those teams are already out there. It's just rather, hey, call us for what we are, which is A, and that's really all it is. So at the end of the day, those Hockey Canada registrants, we believe it's somewhere around 70,000. Obviously, those numbers sway, but we know it's the second largest pool in all of Canada. So for those players in that area not to have the opportunity where everywhere else in Canada that there is junior hockey, there's junior A, it's very unfair. That just doesn't make sense to us.
And the question I have, and I asked you offline, is something again I wanted to just bring up is like the GOJHL commissioner, when you set out a tweet, perhaps yourself, the commissioner, should start telling the members the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, what the OHF has told him, and not select and pick and choose to tell his members. Start there. Can you talk a little bit about what he's saying there, or what he's trying to get at?
Yeah, obviously there's a CJHL agreement that dictates that the CJHL with Hockey Canada, they dictate who is junior A, but there's also a contradictory regulation within the OHF bylaws, and that's regulation C6. And so we are telling the truth. I mean, everyone wants to go and do the research. It's clear as day right there. That's what it says. So that's something that obviously would have to be wrinkled out with all these other bodies, but that is contradictory to what the CJHL regulation states, as the OHA is the member and they have sole jurisdiction of reclassification or categorization of teams. So as we fall under the OHA, it says that as one of the OHF members that they are responsible for classification.
And it's not something, again, it's not that you're trying to start your own league or anything. You guys are already developed, and I'm going back from St. Mary's or Chatham, and I'm just using two teams that have been around forever that I can remember. Teams like that, you're not starting something new. So a lot of these owners have been involved a long time. If it doesn't happen, these owners and teams are still going to stay in the league. Like they're still confident, going to stay junior B. If it doesn't, if you guys didn't get ready for classification. Yeah,
I mean we're very committed to this. I mean it obviously predates me and predates a lot of our owners, but a lot of our owners have been through this time and time again, and they're putting their time and resources and developing great hockey players and young men on and off the ice, and that's proven for just how many alumni have, and that's partly because of the area we're in, which is so many hockey players. So, but that would have to be an individual question for them. But right now, we're all committed. We're committed to this. We think it's very clear how it's laid out when you look at the facts, the numbers, in terms of participants and the geography. That for some reason now, based on all the transferring, the movement of franchises over the years, that the dust settling, so to speak, there's been a great divide within Ontario that you think it's two different countries or two different planets, to be honest, that there's nothing on the other side of Brantford. So that we just don't see how that can be ignored. And that's what we're trying to bring to light here, and awareness with the public, just that why it's like that. And some people may not know it, that hopefully they can see and can help in our effort, that, because at the end of the day, it's not about those teams, is not totally about the league. It's about the players. They need that opportunity, future players, not just them, but you could ask any of the alumni in the NHL or the NCAA, and people who had players who had great careers, not just players, coaches, referees who developed in this league. They'd stand by and say that. I mean, if they wouldn't be able to get to the next level if it wasn't respected and the caliber of competition wasn't there. So I think everyone knows it's there, and it's time we kind of stop not dealing with it and just figure out a solution for everyone involved. And
that goes back, is I use one of the more recent ones is Nathan Perret, who played in the NHL, is on one of the coaching staff. We'll use Davis Boyer, who played in a couple teams in the GO, now is a hockey agent, and a lot of other players have gone on to D1, if not higher levels. So it shows that the GO can compete with any other league in Ontario, if not across the country, right?
Yeah, definitely. And part of that being able to compete is not losing all of our players, or a lot of our players that we do lose, being able to keep whatever it is. And some of them may want to go to any of those 4 junior A leagues you already mentioned, and that's fine. We're here to develop for the next level. Any league other than the NHL is a development league. So whether a player, whatever their path is, we want to be able to get them there to where they want to go, but also we want to be able to get them directly there. So not having to take another step because another league has a different letter than us. We believe within our area, with our homegrown talent, we can have them go directly to to major junior, the U sports, NCAA, and then above and beyond in pro hockey, whether it's Europe or AHL, ECHL, and the NHL. That's just what we're trying to do. So we don't think it's too much to ask to be able to. We understand it's change, and everyone's kind of used to this, and this is kind of how it's been done. But we just don't feel that's fair for a teenager to have to move away simply because they may not be seen as much as they won't be seen as much because they have their junior B classification versus junior A classification.
And I go back when it comes to size of the cities or towns, and I say towns more for you guys than more or less cities. Like you have Kitchener-Waterloo, Niagara Falls, but again, with Niagara Falls, you got about 4 teams within a small area. So when it comes to, they're small little towns, so you're trying to use the homegrown talent. Again, you have to bring some kids in, but instead of sending a 16 or 17-year-old away 5-6 hours to live away from home for 7 to 8 months, you're just trying to keep them home at that age also, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think our attendance numbers kind of speak for themselves in terms of our support. We believe it's the highest level of attendance of any junior hockey league in Ontario, obviously excluding major juniors. So I think the support's there, and it's not like we're adding teams. So right now they already have competition amongst each other. As you mentioned, the Niagara region, there's a lot of teams there, but this would help all those. There's a lot of players there too, though. So we're not flooding the market. We're not adding any teams, and we're just hoping to change a designation so that those players can be labeled what we believe their caliber is, and then not have to leave to be able to stay home and do that.
And to get, I guess, a little bit away from reclassification, and again, we can wake up tomorrow on these times and not know what's happening. But the way the stages or plans are laid out by the province of Ontario, what's the fall looking like for you guys in Southwestern Ontario for the GOJHL?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's an ever evolving situation. But with the planned reopening stages and not being able to get to indoor sport till July 26th, we are taking in that consideration. I mean, we're probably all leagues in Ontario and all sport in Ontario is going to be at the same indoor sport anyways. It's going to be in the same boat regardless of what league it is, even what sport it is. So I think that's what we're hopeful. Obviously, we want to get back just like everybody else does in terms of safe environment. We like to be able to have some fans. I think the whole thing is going to be with this vaccination and how quickly we get that up to speed. But we haven't gotten too far in terms of a decision, but we're aiming for that September, October window to be able to start as close to normal as possible. That's what we're hoping for. It's still a little early, but we're in June now. That hopefully in a couple of weeks, that's going to be more clear in terms of we be able to get an official announcement out, an actual schedule out in about a month and a half or so.
And the biggest thing is the biggest word, like you said, since March 2020 is normal, right? What is normal and what will normal be after when everything's said and done, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think we all know. Hopefully, everyone can be back to complete normal when we start here with these vaccinations. Everyone getting their vaccine, that we can kind of just jump to that. I can imagine there's probably gradual steps in terms of fans and things like that, but hopefully, based on the window of the fall, now that they're trying to get 12 to 17-year-olds vaccinated in August and expecting seconds to be done in August for adults, that the majority of the population will be done before September, that hopefully will be in the clear for that. I think that'd be music to everybody's ears, right?
And realistically, usually puck just dropped usually around Labor Day when it comes to Ontario, when it comes to junior hockey. Again, might be pushed off another month or two after that, but back to the reclassification, is there a time frame or that with the OHA and OHF of what you'll hear or what the teams will hear?
I'm hoping that we'll be able to resolve something, but obviously there's a lot of work to do and a lot of people that need to be involved. But I think that's why we're kind of pushing it right now. We brought it out for kind of public awareness, is that we think it's a great time. We know everyone's going to be coming back and back to things, regardless what that is in the world. And we think it's a perfect time right now to come back to junior hockey with, in our minds, a fixed solution for this area that doesn't have that representation.
Well, Brent, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and hopefully you take a few minutes, like you say, after the decision's done to talk a little bit more about either way it goes, and hopefully you guys get the reclassification. But we'll talk either way.
Great. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.